Ooh, I moved it a little bit. Okay, guys. Here's a little something to let you know what we're going to be learning about today.
We're going to be learning about art.
Ooh, Miss Emerson didn't take into account previews.
No.
Or commercials, whatever they're called.
There's movies.
Oh, so annoying. Who knows what this song this is?
Lion King.
What's it called? What's the song called?
Lion King.
That's what the movie is from. No one knows the song? No one knows what it's called? Tati, what's it called? Oh, it's so frozen. Sorry, guys. You can't hear it? Alright, this song is called... Say it? It's the circle of life. What's another word that we think could be the circle of life? We've learned it before. Chama? Oh! Great job, Chama. The life cycle is the same thing as the circle of life, okay? When we're done, when Miss Emerson's done, we can watch this whole song. It's one of my favorite movies. Not the whole movie, Olivia. We don't have that kind of time. We do not have that kind of time, Olivia. So look, Ooh. Yeah, that was pretty large. Okay. Try to focus, guys. Alright, so today... Stop. I'll wait for Gabriel and Louise. So today we're going to be learning about the life cycle. Who wants to read my objective for me? Jesus. Abel. Olivia, watch out. This way. Explain. This is a big word, so I'm going to say it for you. Identifiable.
Identifiable.
Great job. Go ahead. Stages.
Life cycle of plants and animals.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, and there's species. What's a species? You can tell me what a species is. What's a species, Frederico?
What a kind of animal that's alive and can do amazing ways to what it lives from.
All right, I like it. A little roundabout. But a species is a group of animals. So, are human species? What do we think?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
I think humans. You can name me 3 other species. It's groups of animals that are all in living groups that share common characteristics and are kind of alike in same ways. Jamal?
Butterflies?
Butterflies. All butterflies have little wings and little antennas. Okay, Francis?
I'm gonna say
Oh, okay. Cheetahs are, I would say, like cats. Cats are a species. Cheetahs, go ahead. Zebras or like, yeah, these are all different species. Okay, and we're good. And we're good. And we're good. Oh wait, class.
Yes.
We're done with it. Okay, so I'm sure you guys are like, oh my god, and this is a really, really difficult question. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be really impressed. Raphael, I'm going to be really impressed if you guys can tell me. Why are we talking about life cycles again? They can't be that important. Why do we think life cycles are so important? What's important about life cycles? What's important, Olivia?
That it comes in rotation.
It goes in rotations. And if something's going in rotations, if things are going in rotations, that means they can never what? A circle never, everybody? Ends. Great job. One more time. A circle never ends. So if the world was like a lifeline, okay, if it was just like, all right, I'm a baby, and then I'm an adult, and then I die. Would there be any more people?
Yes.
Yeah? How? How would there be?
If you're pregnant.
Okay, but I'm saying, so this part where the life cycle keeps going is important. Because without, Jesus, or Luis, this is your last one. Sit down here, all the way. Thank you. Because without this cycle, without being able to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going, then life would stop. Life would stop. There wouldn't be any more. Like if for some reason all the frogs in the world couldn't have tadpoles, couldn't lay eggs anymore, would there ever be another frog?
No.
No. What?
No.
No. So that's why they're so important. Who wants to sum that up for me? Who wants to say what I said? But again. Great job, Raphael. Saw turtle before. That does not have to do with life cycles, Raphael. Thank you. Who can tell me what I just said? I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Olivia and Chamath are my 2 number 1s, so I guess I'm going to have to get my sticks. Antonio wasn't here.
Oh no!
Tatiana, tell me why life cycles are important.
Because if there wasn't a
Life would stop. Life cycles keep species what? Alive and going. Life cycles keep species going. Let me hear going. Albert, what do life cycles do?
They keep going.
Keep what going?
They keep. Species.
Species going. Federico, can you tell it to me? Life cycles?
Life cycles are important because they keep going.
They keep species going and going. All right, everyone all together really quick. Life cycles are important because they keep species going and going. Okay, so I think that you guys know what a life cycle is. Olivia, it says, wait, what's a life cycle? I think you know what it is, but I'm not sure you 100% know what it is. So I'm going to see if you guys can finish these questions for me. A life cycle always goes in a
Circle.
Everybody.
Circle.
All right, this is a hard one. I'm going to see if you guys can do that. In a life cycle, there are different.
Species.
Oh, each species has a life cycle, but I want to see Stephanie. In a life cycle, what do you think? There's different what? It's okay if you don't get it right. I want people to stop saying species because I've already said it as an answer. And our hands shouldn't be up because I'm waiting on Stephanie. I'll call on someone.
Like what?
In a life cycle, there's different what? I'm gonna come back to this. Haley, go ahead. There's different what?
Stages.
There's different stages. There's different stages. That's okay. Do you think every living thing on Earth has its own life cycle?
No.
I want you guys to get to the person right next to you and ask, what do you think? Luis and Albert, go.
Yes.
Olivia, Naomi, Gabriel, and Stephanie. Yeah. You two can do it through. What do you think? Do you think every living thing on the planet has a life cycle?
No.
That's the question. So, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
With every species.
I'm gonna give it about 5 more seconds.
I think every
Thank you, Albert, for keeping on task and trying to talk about life
A couple of things, not everything.
A couple of things that everything some people says. All right, guys, class.
Yes.
Everybody together, face forward. So I want to see. How many people think every living thing on Earth is a part of some life cycle? Raise your hand if you do. Raise your hand if you don't. Who thinks no? You know what, Olivia? I love it. Olivia's taking intellectual risk. Everyone else has their hand up, and Olivia's like, you know what? I'm not worried that no one else has their hand up right now. I think my answer's right, and I'm sticking to it. Beautiful. You are wrong. Every living thing does have a life cycle, but I'm just so proud of you going for it anyway. So every living thing on Earth is a part of some life cycle. It has its own life cycle. What's that say? Even humans? Do you think we have our own life cycle? Oh, I'm kind of scared to find out. That is the kid from Lincoln. All right, guys, so, class. So this is a mixed up life cycle. This life cycle is not in the right order, okay? But I want to see if we can think about it and figure it out. What do we think goes first? What's the very first thing? So I'm going to think the very first thing is probably Francis. The baby. Oh, easy. Oh. I drew on this pretty girl's face. Okay. All right. It certainly wasn't that funny. All right. So baby goes in front. Now, this is not really this is like one person. This is one person in her life cycle. What do we think is next? What do you think is next, Louise? It's okay. Okay, we'll try. Up. Hands down while we wait for Luis. I'm not going to call anyone else, so I would at least try to make a guess.
It starts with a T.
I don't know where y'all keep getting first with a T.
T?
Yeah, it starts with
Can you just point to one?
Oh, I got it.
Which one? This one? You're right. So next, you're like a baby, and then you're a...
Top.
All right, that was right. You're right. All right, I'm sorry, Livy. A toddler or a child. Then what happens next? Then what happens next, Raphael?
A teenager.
You're a teenager as F, Raphael. As F.
And
At
then,
least Olivia thinks so.
and then
All right. And then what, Ashley? You got it. You're Anna. This is kind of difficult.
Oh, I know, I know, I know, I know.
What? Oh, so rude. What? Then you go to college or whatever, you're an adult. Then you become an adult. And then the last thing that happens, Naomi, you give birth, you have a mom. What's this called when you have a baby? What's this called?
Pregnant.
Not being pregnant. It's a really big word. It starts with an R, and I want to see if you guys can figure it out. Ooh, what, Gabriel? Close. I thought you had it.
Retaking.
All right, so class. Not reborn. This is like a zombie movie. All right, Gabriel, back up a little bit. And Olivia, you're raising your hand so beautifully and quietly. Can you tell me what you think it is?
I think it is
Recycle. Close. Okay. I want us to look at this. Can everyone look at this, please? And Albert and Jesus in the back. I'm not used. What do we think? What are like super important things that happen in this cycle? What's happening? What are some big milestones? If I had to identify or classify in my head, if I had to think, what do each one of those mean? What would I say? Francis. Okay, it's called the life cycle. In total, it's called life cycle. Tatiana? Not regrow. Oh, you're so close. Jesus? No, y'all, we're done thinking of the re word. I'm going to tell it to you. Okay? I want you to think. So, for example, I think an important life cycle here is birth. When you're born. Birth. Then what's this called? What do we think this is called? Jesus? Okay, being a child, but I'm doing something. Okay. I want no more calling out. No more. Something, thank you, Olivia. Raise your hand. Something's happening here. What am I doing? Do you just go baby and then you're a pregnant person overnight? You wake up one night from a baby and then you're an adult? What happens? You what? Jesus, what do you do? I don't want a blum blum. I'm a Toys R Us kid. What do you do? What do you do? Luis, go sit in the back. What do you do? Starts with a G. Stephanie?
Grow.
You grow. Everybody?
Grow.
A little louder.
Grow.
And I have another word. We learned another word for grow, and it starts with a D. We learned it when we were talking about our brine shrimp. I will give 2 paw prints to anyone who can remember it. Don't just guess. Where do we go? 2 paw prints to anyone who can remember it. Duh. Haley.
Development.
Ooh, Haley!
I said it first.
Oh, no, you did it, Gabriel. And so you also develop. So let's see. First, you're a baby. Then you develop. And what do we think this one is here? How can we say this?
Reproduce.
Say it again.
Reproduce.
Reproduce. I want to ask you guys something. I want you to I'm going to count in my head for 10 seconds. And I want you guys to look at this. And when I'm done, I want you guys to tell me what you think the most important part of this life cycle is. What's the most important part? What is essential? What is critical? What is most important about keeping the whole thing going? The whole thing going. I'm going to count to 10 in my head. I would look at it though. I would like to hear what? Federico, what do you think is the most important part?
Like where?
Oh, Lordy, Federico. In the life cycle, what's the most important part in the life cycle? Which part do you think is most important? I call on you. Go ahead.
Reproduce.
Why?
Because I think I was about to say.
Who thinks so? Who agrees with Federico? Raise your hand. Okay. Rachel, tell me why. Woo! Because it keeps the life cycle going. Everybody, because it keeps the life cycle going. Okay? Because if this woman didn't have a baby, what happens? It stops. Eventually this woman's going to get old and she's going to what? Die. But it's okay. The human population will live on like in a zombie apocalypse because I'm still talking. Because she's going to have a baby. And then that baby's going to grow up and then it's going to become a moody teenager always on its telephone. And then it's going to go to college and then it's going to get pregnant and then she's going to have a baby and then that's going to happen. And then that's going to happen and then that's going to happen. And then it just keeps going and going and going forever. And then it does not blow up, Raphael. Yes, Olivia.
All of it won't happen if she wasn't born.
Okay, if she wasn't born. Oh, how beautifully insightful. So, those important stages we just developed. Let's make sure we got them. Who can tell me? Who can tell me the first one? Not Jesus, because Jesus raised his hand. Francis?
A baby.
Which is called what?
Fetus.
Which is called what?
Born.
Which is called what? Birth. Birth. When you're birth. The birth of Francis. Then what happens? Then you what? Not Olivia, Rachel, or Ashley. Naomi, then what? Then you what?
Then you grow up.
Then you grow. What's another way to say that?
Development.
Everybody say it.
Development.
Then you develop. And then something happens, a really important something. Who can tell me? Someone who I haven't called on. I think I've called on everybody. Gabriel, go ahead. And then you reproduce. You go and have a baby. And then what happens kind of off on the side? It's not on the cycle, but what happens? You have no.
You die.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
And what happens?
It kind of stinks. It kind of stinks. I don't want to hear anything about that. Does that have to do with the life cycle? Okay, keep it to yourself. All right. Oh gosh. So now I'm going to see if you guys can do this and then develop it, or then label it with all those things we just had. Let's recite those things one last time because y'all were being kind of crazy. All right. Everybody, I'm waiting. Birth, grow, reproduce, die. R.I.P. One more time. But you know what? These are the three that are going to be that I want you guys to label on your cycle. So let's just say these three. Birth. I can't hear you. That's so sad. Grow. Reproduce. And then birth. And then it keeps going over and over and over and over and over. Raphael. Up, up. Yeah. Alright, I'm waiting. Class.
Yes.
I need you for scoot. Gabriel, I really need your one-on-one conversations to stop. Okay? So now I'm going to see if you guys can help me with this one. It's all over the place. Oh, I don't know what to do. What are this? What is this a life cycle of, by the way? Everybody.
Butterflies. Caterpillars.
Well, caterpillars are part of it. It's a life cycle of a...
Butterfly.
Yeah, you were right. Say it again. Butterfly. Okay. So, what comes first? What do we think comes first?
Eggs.
Jesus, what comes first? The eggs.
Of course we can bake them.
You don't eat these eggs. I don't recommend it. Okay? Then what happens? By the way, this is a larva. Miss Emerson couldn't find another one like that, so that's a larva. Then what happens? Federico?
And then it turns into a caterpillar.
Oh, you're missing something rude. Steph, go ahead. Then turns into a larva. And then then what happens? Now, Frederica.
Caterpillar.
Then it turns into a caterpillar.
Oh, I know this one.
Grows into a caterpillar. And then what happens, Olivia? Okay, a cocoon. This is also called a chrysalis. Say it.
Chrysalis.
Chrysalis. And then it turns into a chrysalis. It goes in a neck. And then what happens, Ash? It turns into a beautiful butterfly. There you go.
A painted lady.
A beautiful painted lady butterfly, Olivia.
They got a information for our caterpillars.
We could what, baby?
Get information for our.
This is information about our caterpillars. Who wants to tell me? I want you guys to all tell me, when I count to 3, whisper as loud as you can. What stage do we think our caterpillars are in? 1, 2, 3. Larva. They're right here. They're little eggs. And now they're eating all their delicious pumpkin stuff. And they're larvae. Now I want you guys to see, Rafa, I want you guys to see if you can do our stages of development. What are the stages again, everybody? Birth, grow, or development, and
Reproduce.
oh lordy, we need to revisit that slide.
Reproduce.
Okay, so let's just say we're gonna go with grow instead of develop, okay? Yeah, let's do, no, I lied. Let's do develop, okay? Are we ready? So we're gonna say develop. Everybody, birth, develop, reproduce, birth. This is like class.
Yes.
Duh,
Development.
copy me. Duh, develop. Develop, and we need to get in sync, okay? 1, 2, 3. Birth, develop, reproduce. Birth, develop, reproduce. First, you're a little baby. Wah! You're born, and then you grow, you develop, and then you have another little baby, and it keeps on going. So, where do we think? Who can label birth for me? Who can label birth for me? This is different because it's a little different than how we did it, Haley. The egg. An egg is born. Okay, birth. Beautiful. What are the couple stages that we're developing, Rafa?
When they hatch out of the egg.
I think kind of all of this is development. When do you think they reproduce? When does it reproduce? When does it lay its eggs? At what stage of its life? Jesus? The third one is reproduce, baby. A teenager? No, butterflies don't have cell phones. They're not tweeting each other. They're not teenagers. Okay, so it's born, and then it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. And when do we think it's ready to lay its eggs? At what stage, Ashley? And it's a beautiful butterfly. Okay, and this is when it reproduces. What, my love?
Where they dry their wings and then they fly.
And then they can fly? Yeah, butterfly is what lays the eggs. It's kind of weird that a butterfly lays the eggs and then it turns into a caterpillar, right?
Yes.
And so only animals can have life cycles, right? Who thinks yes? Who thinks no? Who's not voting? Frederico and Raphael? Are you part of the independent party?
Yes.
Yes, okay. What do you think, Gabriel? Do you think plants and animals have life cycles, or just only animals? Plants and animals. We shall see.
People.
Last one, and then you guys are going to do this on your own. Ooh, it's all mixed up. So this one is a little harder. Do you think you can get it?
Yes.
Class.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, well, then great, Albert. You can tell me my first one. Where do I start? Where does it start? Where does it all begin?
I think
Ashley, where does it tell me, come on. If a tree was a baby, if a tree was a person, where would it begin? Where would it all begin? Close.
Wait.
How does I need everyone to put their hands down. How does an apple tree start? What does it start from?
As a seed?
As a seed. And where does an apple seed come from?
Oh, I know. An apple. My tree.
An apple. So our apple is going to be our very first. Have you guys ever eaten an apple seed and your mean older brother or sister told you an apple tree was going to grow on your stomach?
Yeah.
Yes. Did it ever happen? I survived, I'm glad.
It would be eaten.
Alright, what do we think comes next? What do we think comes next? Jesus? This one? So then it's a little baby seed.
Is it true?
No, it's not true. Ooh.
It's not.
Alright, so this comes next. Great job. Then what do you think happens next? It's coming out of its seed. It's growing. It's growing. It's growing. Naomi? This one? The little baby. Oh, it's so small. Oh. And then what happens next, Stephanie? And then it turns into an even bigger tree. And then what is it doing here? It's what?
An apple tree.
Which is, what can I hear? Reproducing. It's reproducing other little baby apple trees. It's saying,
I'm going to plant a bunch of apples all over the world, and apple trees will take over the world.
that's what it's doing. It's getting all of its apples with all of its apple seeds to fall down. How long do you think this takes?
1,000 years.
Probably pretty close.
30
Olivia?
30 years.
I would say like even more, to be honest. Miss Emerson was just asking you a question. I don't remember right now.
4,000 million years.
No, I would say a solid like 70 or so years. I think it takes a long time. So, but I'm going to Google it for you guys. Oh gosh, I will literally die. No, it is. But I appreciate you being on top of it, Jamal. Okay, so that being said, now you guys are going to go. Luis, will you hand me those worksheets in the back? I want us to think about really quick. We're going to do our fill in the stages, and then you guys are going to do it yourself. What are the stages again, everybody? Birth, develop, reproduce. One more time, because y'all are weak. Birth, develop, reproduce. Beautiful. So where does birth begin? Where does birth begin, Francis? On this cycle. Where's birth? This little apple? It is well, you know, that's kind of hard. I would just say between these two. Right? Birth, and then it's developing, development, and then it's reproduce. Okay. So you guys are going to write your name on the top. What are you going to do?
Write your name.
Unless Emerson couldn't figure out how to do little arrows. But I know y'all know how it goes. Okay, so you are going to choose whatever animal you want. Which animal are you going to choose? Say it again. Anyone you want. And then you are going to label it. Who thinks they know what they're going to label it? Jesus? Their stages, which are? Beautiful. Gabriel, can you back up for me, sweetheart? Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to meet with smaller groups in the back. What, Maya? I'm actually just going to call because it has to be people who can be on camera. So I'm actually just going to call these three guys. Okay? But I didn't tell anyone to get up yet. Oh, I'm so confused. Who's my classroom helper? Olivia, is it you?
Olivia?
Or is it Ash? Ash, it's you? So Ash is going to go ahead and pass these out to everybody.
I'm substitute.
Who can tell me where we put them when we're done? Everyone point. Beautiful. The turn and bend. So are you going to say, Miss Emerson, I'm done? Wave it in my face. Please don't. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Make it happen.
What are the stages?
I mean, I wouldn't do butterfly because you've already done it. So, we're not touching people's dioramas. Thank you, Raphael. Thank you for your efforts. Thank you.